How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to yet another weekly warehouse. Pretty busy week this week. First off, we have a rather full Trilogy drop / restock shelf. We're just gonna go left to right. Looks like we got some Raptor Eye Sake Bomb Slammers back in. I think these are actually classic ones, which I don't know what these were. Classic Supreme Orbits. They're the same. I lied to you. But restock of the Raptor Eye, they always go fast. Sake Bomb Slammers. Then over here we have, so there's like a little bit of a new disc. It's the same stamp on the top of the Raider, this like Opto Glimmer. I think it's Opto, Lucid Ice Glimmer. But the bottom's got the Sake Bomb ring on it. So that's kind of cool. So they did these in a bunch of different stamps. So you're like, I don't know, if you're a big Ricky fan, a little way to rep them a little bit more. The Sake Bomb ring on the bottom probably will be collectible a little bit. Then we have some Tour Series stuff releasing. We got the Fusion X or Tournament X. Trilogy's plastics just run me for a freaking loop. Fusion X is Tournament X. Anyways, it's a bear. Sayananda Tournament X Burst Bear. Well, I guess I can show you these. These are Cloud Breakers. We still have a few left as of the recording of this. They might be gone now. Not Trilogy, but fits right in with what we're showing. Next one down, we got the Kevin Kiefer Pioneer. I'll read the back of this. Gold Orbit, also known as Fusion Orbit or Tournament Orbit. And then we have this one I'm very excited about. Macy Vela-Diaz Classic Soft Justice. Look at this thing. And it's a Justice. So basically what this could do is, Justice is crazy overstable. You can rip it on whatever angle. It's gonna get to hyzer, and then when it hits the ground, it's gonna have that give, so that it shouldn't really roll away. It's also really tacky. Great for, like, we're about to head into the summer months. A lot of humidity, a lot of sweaty hands. You're not gonna have to worry about grip issues with this thing. These feel incredible. All board flat, classic soft Justice. Incredible idea for a Tour Series disc. Bunch of different colors of those there. This is similar to the Raider, showed up top. These Lucid Ice Glimmer harps with the Sake Bomb ring on the bottom. Bunch of different colors available there. And then we have Zach Melton Fusion X Orbit Maverick. These are probably incredible. Fusion X normally makes stuff a little bit more overstable. Feels great in the hand. So this Maverick should be one of the good runs where it like will pop up to flat and you don't have to worry about it popping up and riding over. Maverick's an incredible, incredible disc. I right now have a Mockingbird in my bag, but before that, you know how much I love my Mavericks. Next step down, I believe this is the last thing in, let me see if these are Sake ring. They are, actually. We got some, these look like Chameleon, possibly. Explorers with the Sake ring on the bottom. And the last thing in Trilogy over here, little Johnny McRae, what is Latitude 64? So this would be, is there a tournament? Gosh darn it, Latitude. Gold Orbit, Fuse. Pretty sick. Latitude, Fusion. You know what, I'm from here on out, dynamic plastic is the one that comes most naturally to me, so I'm referring to all of them as dynamic. This is a Fusion, Orbit, Fuse. Hate on me in the comments, that's just gonna make my life so much easier. Johnny McRae, Fusion, Orbit, Fuse, boom.
All right, quickly want to point you over to Hooligan Discs. This is a kind of newer emerging company. I don't know if you've heard of them before. Manufactured by Lone Star, so if you like Lone Star plastic, you'll like Hooligan. Right now we have the thread here that I want to highlight. We had some other molds that had sold out, but the thread we still have quite a few of. This is a 9.5 -1.1. Really nice feeling, like hybrid slot. And these like are hyzer flip discs basically. Really solid. We have these in quite a few different colors. Hooligan actually, you know, Lone Star's kind of got some really cool swirls that they're manufacturing for them. I mean, look at that. That's a really nice one there. So if you haven't checked out Hooligan Discs, really should. And if you haven't checked out Lone Star Plastic in general, that's a good place to start there. Innova, the Halo Charger has just come out. Now, if you haven't thrown the Charger, this is a newer one. This is actually Greg Barsby's Tour Series, which is pretty crazy how quickly he latched onto this mold. This mold came out probably a few months ago, and it's kind of a faster, slightly less stable than a Destroyer disc. I've seen some that are actually considerably less stable. Like it's meant to be more of like a bomber distance disc, but like it's kind of like what the Shrike is for AMs. Like this would be for like higher speed arms. And now in the Halo plastic, we've got a few different colors. I'm imagining this is going to be even a little more stable, so this could just be like a faster Destroyer at this point. But the Charger is sick. I honestly Might have to bag one eventually. I'm seeing them thrown more and more. I saw a few thrown at college nationals, and it's pretty sick. If you haven't tried out the Charger, these things can really smash. They're pretty awesome. It kind of reminds me of like a cloud breaker situation. If you haven't got your hands on a cloud breaker or they're too pricey or whatever, maybe try a Charger. You might get a similar result.
All right, we're headed over to the Lone Star shelf here. So we actually have a full Lone Star restock that's in our warehouse. It's just slowly being added to the site. So I'm gonna highlight a few discs this week. We'll probably highlight a few more discs next week as it all kind of gets added to the site. The first thing I'm gonna highlight here is we got a bunch of different plastics for the Harpoon. So the Harpoon's like an overstable, shallow approach disc from Lone Star, and they have it in several different plastics. This here is, I'm still learning their plastics to be honest with you. This is their V2 plastic. It's kind of a stiff baseline. Feels really good. It's like a little bit chalkier BT hard, if I had to say. And then the Harpoon profile is very unique. Very shallow for this approach disc type. I mean, I guess it's technically probably a mid, but the flight wise, it fits that approach disc. Feels very comfortable forehand, very comfortable backhand. Then you have, I believe this is their Alpha, or is this Bravo? This is Bravo. So Bravo is kind of like their Star. It's a lot of times kind of a little gummier than a lot of other Star plastics, but has really good grip. So like with ESP zones, I've been really loving them, but you have to kind of find one that's nice and grippy. Lone Star's plastic's kind of always grippy, so if you're not really into grippy plastic, you probably won't like the Bravo. Then I believe back here, never mind, those are all Alpha. I thought we had V1 plastic's a little softer than V2. There we go. We do have some V1. So V1's a little softer than the V2. So it brings that same like BT hard. This would be kind of like a BT, not quite soft, maybe BT medium, where it has a little bit of give, a little bit more grip. And yeah, it feels great. What I love about like this plastic for approach disc is you can kind of beat the edge off a little bit. So you'll slowly start getting nice dead straight forehands and then flip ups. And then last, this looks like a glow. Yeah, nice glow plastic Harpoon. Some of these have a slight dome, which isn't what I would prefer. I think actually most of the glow ones came out with a slight dome, but nice and tacky. Good little give to them. And then glow should make it even more overstable. Other one I wanted to highlight is up here, the dome. I don't really hear too many people talking about this disc at 8.6 -3.1. Great little utility disc. We actually have some, this is a lightweight one, 155, so this could be a great option if you're a beginner looking for a good disc to pick up. It actually seems like a lot of these might be lightweight. Here we go, this one's 172. But for more advanced players, this could be kind of like what I use the IT for, where you can throw it on a bunch of different angles and basically control how much it's gonna turn over and go right. Could also be a decent roller. Most people use the Tumbleweed as the roller from Lone Star. That's gonna be hitting the site here soon. We have a bunch of those in stock coming to the site soon, but the Dome's a good option for like a little bit slower. The Tumbleweed, I think, is 11 speed, 12 speed. The Dome's only at 8 speed, a little bit slower. Probably a disc that you can hit, depending on your power, flat or maybe a little bit of ante, and get all the way down to that roller angle consistently versus trying to have to crank something over and really work it. So the Dome, I think people see these like really understable flight numbers and they get scared by it. Basically what it means is it's really controllable. So the more hyzer you put on it, the more you can control how much it flips up. You can also power down if you need to throw standstills. People overlook flippy discs like this, but yeah, we got a bunch of really good discs in stock. The Curl's one of my personal favorites, nice flippy, 11 speed. The Bowie, the Bull Snake. Bull Snake's very unique, basically like an overstable approach disc, but feels like a normal putter. So if you just love throwing backhand approaches with a really overstable disc and you don't like the Zone, Harpoon, pick up the Bull Snake. It feels a lot more like your typical putter. It's gonna fly kind of like those zones and stuff. And you can just check out the whole lineup. There's more being added to the site all the time. Lots of great discs that I think people are just now starting to discover. So check out the Lone Star collection.
All right, over here in the MVP/Streamline section, I want to highlight a few molds. First off here, we've got the stabilizer from Streamline Discs. This is a great option. I don't think a lot of people consider. For those of you who don't even know, Streamline Discs is basically the non-gyro discs that are made by MVP, so it's the same plastic. So, I used to bag an Entropy for quite a while, really good approach disc. The stabilizer is basically that same disc without the gyro. So if this is a great option, I can know confidently this is a great option if you're looking for a good approach disc and you maybe don't want the gyro. Stabilizer is a great option there. Some gyro molds I will highlight. The servo here. This is one that Simon was actually messing around with quite a bit. I'm not sure if it's still in his bag, but this is a great controllable fairway option. I am a huge fan of the 6-speed slot. This is technically a 6.5, but I think it's a great one. to have in your bag. There's a lot of times where you want to throw a mid-range, but it's just a little bit too far, and like a lot of fairways now are coming in at 8-9 speed where that's a little heavy. These are going to be more comfortable in your hand, more controllable. This one will get a nice little bit of flip for you maybe, and a nice fade at the end, and 6-speed is a very valuable slot. Another disc. This is one that I believe Simon is still throwing. This is a Tesla. This is like a step up from that. It's a 9.5 -1.2. Tesla is a great straight to overstable driver depending on your arm speed in that 9-speed slot. I think this one gets a little bit overlooked because a lot of people throw the Volt. The Volt is more stable than this, so if you've thrown the Volt before and you're looking for something a little straighter, something that glides a little more, try out the Tesla. Last disc I want to mention from MVP is the Octane. Just got a bunch of these in. The Octane is a great disc. This is one that Hunter was throwing a lot when he was throwing a lot of gyro. He was getting his Octanes to have, like, they start out with decent stability, and he was kind of beating them in to have like flip up the flat, and they go super, super far. The Octane is legitimately one of the furthest flying distance drivers I've seen. These things really, really bomb. So if you haven't tried out the Octane yet, and I know that the distance driver lineup from MVP a lot of times is tough to navigate, the Octane is a great option. It is really solid, so make sure to check it out.
All right, a very special release happening today. The First Run Zone OS is dropping. This thing is aggressive, my word. I actually threw a prototype one of Brody's, and this disc has gotten beefier since that. You can tell like the really aggressive flatness right here into the aggressive shoulder. Most of them that I've found have been puddle top. Actually, I don't know if I've seen one that's not puddle top. And they might as well be in crystal plastic. This plastic's so stiff. I mean, all signs point to this being one of the most overstable approach discs on the market. And we actually have a very small amount. I mean, I think we're talking like 10 of them that have the flight numbers that say BEEF, B-E-E-F. These are just gonna be on the site. So you'll be going in, looking at your variants, you'll be able to see them. They're gonna fly very fast off the shelves, especially this guy, a little black with white. You can really see it there. All the stock ones have the actual flight numbers in there, but very limited amount of the ones that have the flight numbers. BEEF, pretty cool idea from Discraft there. So these are just gonna be thrown on the site. So you can head over there, see if there's still any in stock, and obviously you can pick up a stock one too, all for the same price. So we're not marking these up or anything, but very sick disc. I know a lot of people are very excited for these. I would imagine most of our inventory in general is gonna go fast. We pre-sold a little bit of it, and then we have some hitting the site tonight. So if you also had a pre-order, don't worry, that is being shipped out kind of as we speak. I would imagine it'll be out by the end of the day. So those are gonna be on their way to you, but then you pick up what's left and possibly get your hands on a BEEF one on the site right now. These things feel incredible. I'm very excited to get in the field and throw it.
Over here on the back shelves, gonna talk a little bit about some Casaplast. I wanna mention the Rico. We've got a whole bunch in stock right now. Look at these gorgeous black with white there. The Rico is legitimately such an underrated putter. These things are like, I would consider the Rico very close to a perfect putter mold. It's comfortable, it glides, it has a nice like neutral flight where it holds just about every line you put it on. There's not a lot of putters that can do that. If you throw this thing on hyzer, it kind of holds. Throw it with Annie, it holds. It's a very forgiving putter. The Rico, I cannot recommend enough. If you haven't checked this out, we have it in a bunch of plastics. This K1 is like a premium one you could throw, a little more stable. We also have it in baseline plastics. There's some hard, some soft. Check out the Rico if you haven't yet. And if you haven't checked out Casaplast at all, what are you doing? It's incredible stuff. The Swedish plastic, it's absolutely gorgeous. Also want to highlight some Prodigy over here. Prodigy mold that came out pretty recently that rocked my world is the MX1. This is something they were missing in their lineup, and we actually have it in 500 series right now. I mean, that looks just absolutely gorgeous. This is something they were missing in their mid-range lineup, in my opinion. It is, I would compare this to like a Justice or... yeah, pretty much a Justice. It's just a super overstable mid-range. They have it as a 5204, so it's not like a zone, like it's faster than that, but it has insane reliability. You can rip over on it. It's coming out. You can throw great forehands. The MX1 is amazing, and Prodigy didn't really have this disc in their lineup, but now they do. They've got it in 500 plastic. We have some in 400 as well. Definitely highly recommend the MX1. It is fantastic. Really good overstable mid-range, very reliable. Another disc I want to highlight real quick, we have a ton of right now, is the Falcor. I think people are still sleeping on the Falcor. I don't really know how. I think you just have to throw one and you'll fall in love. This disc is so fantastic. A 13 speed, but it's not that hard to throw. Like, it really is pretty forgiving. If you have higher arm speeds, you can even get some flip out of these things right away. The Falcor is incredible. I think it's like the most underrated distance driver out there right now. Like, not a lot of people know about it or throw it unless you're like really a prodigy guy. This disc is incredible, so definitely check out the Falcor.
All right, I don't know about where you live, but it is getting hot here. Yesterday was 87 degrees, and I was out on the course playing around, and I was caught sackless. So don't be like me. Pick up, you have grandma's dirt bag, you have sports sacks, Latitude 64 ones, dynamic ones. Make sure your hands stay dry, because when your hands get wet trying to throw these hyders like me, they start slipping out early. Things are going left. You have to rub your hands in dirt. I don't know if you remember Eagle McMahon circa 2 years ago, rubbing his hand in dirt, getting his hand cut on glass. You don't want to be like that either. Have a sports sack in your bag. You won't have to worry about it. Just chalk up before. These actually don't have chalk in them. These are like beads that just absorb your sweat. Grandma's disc golf dirt bag has dirt in it, so that'll have more of that like clap, clap, powder go up effect. So a lot of options. Keep your hand dry so you aren't caught with grip issues on the course, because that's the last thing you want as we head to warmer and warmer months. Also, I know we shout out pretty much every week, but heading to warmer months, rep foundation on the course, a little foundation Nalgene, a little foundation water bottle action. Get some ice water in there, and you'll be set. That's gonna wrap it up for this week. Head over to the site, check all this out and so much more. Constantly being added to the site every day. Lone Star is gonna be added over the next week. I think next week we have some really exciting drops. So you'll wanna be back here, same time, same place, to learn all about that next week.